What's going on, world? This is your girl, Marky Lemons-Ryhal, and today I am excited. We're doing this series where I am interviewing the different speakers from the 2019 Realtor Conference and Expo. And I had to really go through and sort this list because you had to think about this. They received hundreds, I think almost 800 submission. And out of that 800 people, they narrowed it down to less than 100. And then in that 100 people who are selected to speak to 20,000 plus realtors, I picked some people out who I thought could really share the social media and technology experience. And so today I am elated to bring, he's going to be my new bestie, Cal Draper on because Cal is the video man. And let me say this. I went and looked at you online and I realized you're a family man and you also own a pet. And what's crazy is you talk about your family quite a bit. Like I went through, I'm like, oh, he really is a family man. And you're a big, robust guy, but you got a really great smile. And so I am elated that you took some time out with me today. Is this
Absolutely.
your first Realtor Conference and Expo?
It is. Yeah, it's my very first one. So I've done a couple of the state ones, but this is my first national event. So I don't know if I'm more excited or more I want to throw up because I'm really nervous, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And let me say this, my first one was in 2009. I had the same identical feeling that you had. But if you bring great content that helps the realtor community save time, energy, and money, they will absolutely love you.
Then I'm good.
Then you're good. You're golden. We talked about a few things. And if you don't mind, share your background because I thought your story was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm not from the entrepreneurial business world. I got my start as a young adult as a pastor. And so I pastored students for almost a decade in my 20s in Dallas, Texas. And then in a really weird turn of events with which most of the people watching this aren't going to care about the details of, I just felt like I was being led to go minister to the business world and just love on people authentically there as opposed to in the church. And so I resigned at our church and I started a roofing company with my dad and my brother and just began to cut my teeth in sales and marketing. And then very quickly, so you can't tell, I try to dress so I look skinnier than I am. My mom and wife have taught me that, but I'm 6'3", 300 pounds. And so one day I woke up and went, do I really climb on people's roofs for a living? What is happening? How did I get here? This is not what this looked like when I stepped away from pastoring. And so around that time, a buddy of mine, he wanted to start a company that built websites for real estate agents. And so he was the brains, I was the above average face, and I just started loving on real estate agents, trying to sell them websites. And so, Marky, it was through that I quickly realized I hate cold calling realtors trying to sell them a website. It's the worst. And so I very quickly thought, and this is what I also coach realtors through right now, is I thought, what is the need of my client? And then what am I really gifted at? And what does it look like to meet that in the middle? And so what that looked like for me was I'm a great communicator, having preached 3 times a week for a decade, and realtors sucked at social media. And so my future was born, and I started teaching Facebook classes around Oklahoma City, which is where we lived at the time. And one class led to 3, that led to 10, that led to 100. And about 2 years ago, I made the switch. I got out of websites. And now I coach and speak full time, almost exclusively in the real estate space. And it's all social media, marketing, storytelling related.
Now, you say storytelling. And what I realized, because we both believe in videos and we actually both believe in Facebook Live videos. And I leverage videos for lead generation. And what I realized, the true difference between my videos that generate the most leads versus those that don't is the ability to tell a story. So
Yeah.
you've had well over a decade of experience in storytelling, but I'm going to make this. You told me you were fifth generation pastor, right? Is
Right.
that what something we talked
Yeah.
about? So
It's in
you were
my
raised
blood.
in church, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So you've heard a lot. You've seen your father, grandfather. You've seen how they interpret the word and bring
Sure.
that to church, right? So if
Yeah.
what are we missing as a real estate community when it comes to storytelling? What is the first thing we need to do before we decide to pick up our mobile device, right, and click that go live button? What's something that we should do?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that most realtors miss out on is just context. Right. So what I mean by that is every realtor is great at posting a closing photo. And I
Wait,
think
let me stop laughing. Hold on one second.
yeah,
You're right. They get that angle right. Every last one of those closing
that's it.
photos. Look, that is a golden photo. Okay.
Yeah. The picture of them and their spouse on date night will be terrible, but that closing photo is going to be angled and filtered, and it's going to look good. And so what I think the difficulty with storytelling is most people post a photo and forget that everyone else doesn't already know the story, right? So if you're the realtor, you've been through the pains of the process. You've been through the, hey, I think they're approved. Oh, wait, they just, now they're not approved. And we put an offer in and we think it's accepted and it's not accepted. Like, you lived that. So when you post the closing photo, like, your emotions are so deep. But all I see is, hey, look at me. I closed another property. And so you feel the story. You just don't say it so that everyone else can understand. Because what I like to tell people is, I can't appreciate what you are if I don't know what you were.
Say that again.
I can't appreciate what you are without appreciating what you were.
Wow. Okay.
Right. And sadly, what I've found is in the world of real estate, it can be such a shallow industry. And it's such an accolade, reward-driven industry that nobody wants to tell the horror stories once they've got to the penthouse. And so now we only know them as the penthouse, and that's arrogant and prideful, and we're not drawn to that. But that's not truly who they are, because they came from the poorhouse. They're just not giving us the full story. And so that's what we miss in storytelling, is giving people context to come alongside us and champion our successes, as opposed to be upset by them because they don't understand the whole picture.
You have just sent chills down my spine, because I tell people I have 5 good secrets, but I really went back and analyzed. I only have 3. And
Okay.
I tell the story from beginning to end. And I posted a picture yesterday, and I said, what has gotten me, because not only am I speaking at the Realtor Conference and Expo, I'm also being inducted into the 2019 Reback Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And
congratulations.
thank you. And the picture I post talked about, I had faith and a good attitude when I had nothing.
Yeah.
And somebody said, man, that was really vulnerable for you to admit that. And I'm like, man, the struggle is real. And I really never talked about the struggle until a young lady interviewed me for an article in her publication. And she said, Marky, I don't want to hear all the good. I want to hear the bad. I want to know what got you here. And I cried in writing that story, because we always do the, hey, look, woke up this way, right?
Right.
But I got this big old ring light in front of my face, right? No, not really, right? And so it is just the truth. But I think I might have heard you say, without saying it, we really don't do the photos any justice because we don't even tell the story behind the photo.
No.
Wow.
No. And
right.
and without going too deep into this, and you just cut me off if I'm not saying something good. But what I found interesting is, if you make, this is what the data says, if you make $100,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of money earners in the world, which is pretty mind blowing to think about. And so what I've learned in my 4 years now of doing social media and storytelling is, if that's true, right? If 100,000 puts you in the top 1% of the world, I think it's safe to assume that 99% of people aren't where they want to be. And so if that's true, as I'm posting my successes, I think I'm making me look better to you, when the reality is what I'm doing is reminding you of what you're not. And it's creating remorse and frustration, right? And so what I try to help people understand is, if we reverse that and think about pain, right? What percentage of people have experienced it? 100. And so when I can speak from a place of pain, everyone relates. But when I speak from a place of success, most people are completely disconnected. And so, for example, 3 months ago, our dog passed away. And so I talked about it on Facebook, and of course there was an outpouring of emotion and love, and, from everyone that knew us. Right. And so what I love about pain is, have you ever had a paper cut?
Yes.
Yeah. They suck, right?
Yes.
Like they're painful. They burn, right? And so what's interesting about pain is, if you and I are meeting for lunch and you're like, man, I got a paper cut getting out of my car, I don't go, Marky, suck it up. My dog died 3 months ago, right? Like we don't play the comparison game with pain. Pain resonates back and forth. I can feel sorry for your paper cut, and you can feel remorse for for our dog having passed away. But success isn't a two-way street. If I make 100 grand and you make $1 million, you can be genuinely proud of me, but I can't genuinely be proud of you, because you're where I'm not. And we try to pretend like this isn't real, but this is real. And so when I can package my success with the story of where I've come from, people go, holy cow, bro, that is incredible. Wow. But if I leave out that and I just talk about that I have almost 40 coaching clients now, that just makes me look awesome, which isn't entirely the truth, because it took a lot of being terrible and having no clients, right? And speaking for free in order to appreciate now what I get to do in November alongside you. So we've got to be telling people the full story if we truly want them to connect and keep showing up every time we post something or do a video. That's the key.
And now when I think about my top performing videos, it's when I told the best story, but it was things like crab in a barrel, lessons learned from dope fiend parents. It's when I'm telling the pain. It's
real life.
Yeah, and people love it. Like they stop me on corners. One day I had someone stop me 3 different times. I did a video. I said, when your F-ups become your come-ups, right? And 3 different people stopped me in different parts of the city, and they remembered the title. And I talked about the struggle of my car breaking down. Me ended up having to get a ride. I was on the beginning of a tour, didn't know how I was going to make it through Michigan in the snow, stopping to get snacks. The person drove me around, even bought me snacks. And then he chimed in. He said, those were some good snacks, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was Snickers, but it was some good snacks because I'm carless, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, then, so that means then psychologically,
100%.
we have to change, because we are taught to always talk about the good and not really talk about the bad. And that's a skill set. Like, you really got to get over yourself to be able to
Absolutely.
do. Okay, okay.
Absolutely.
So I've never. Guess what? I'm gonna tell you now. My storytelling skills are getting ready to be on
I love
10.
it.
Oh,
Come
okay.
on.
So the context, and I'm even thinking I need to switch up, or not only every realtor I know needs to switch
Yeah,
up the story behind the photos, behind all the
absolutely.
content, because we are not telling the story.
100%.
So storytelling is a big aspect. And I think you made me emotional here. When we think about content coaching. So I got my story.
Yep.
Okay, so what do I talk about?
So I love that question because I get that question the most. And here's what's interesting. We don't have time to truly go into the depth of that question, right? You know that. And that'll be a lot about what my talk at NAR in November will be about. But like right here to my left, I have a bookshelf full of books, right? That are all written by brilliant men and women, far smarter than me, that have already done the work, put in the effort, and put it on a page for me to consume. And so what I work with my clients is when you're struggling for content, pick a book that has changed your life, that changed your day, that changed your month, that changed 2011 for you, and just pick one sentence out of it, right? Read it out loud, give people the context of who that person is, why they wrote it, and then tell them why those 7 words changed your thinking or your work ethic or the way you love your spouse, the way you parent your kids, the way you run your business. And because here's what's crazy. No one reads. Now, readers think everyone reads, but most people don't read. And so there's a reason why Cliff Notes are almost more successful than the actual book themselves, because most people are looking for the fastest way out. So they would rather see Marky in 5 minutes give me a quick synopsis, and because I trust you, you tell me what I should know, and then I don't even have to go read the book because I'll just apply what Marky said.
First of all, I got 2 ahas right at this moment. I think this is because you were past. I'm just gonna get this to you. I picked up the Miracle Morning, right? Who he worked for Cutco, right? And he attended a Christian school, right? Okay, so this is crazy. He says, step 3, draw a line in the sand. You've acknowledged and embraced the reality that 95% of society is struggling. Pretty much in alignment with what you just said, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, yep. So I'm like, okay, that note. My book that I'm doing is 140 simple messages. So you just affirmed to me that the style in which I wrote my book was the best style to write it based 100%. On your Cliff Notes. Okay, come on, give me some hope. So they don't read. You got all these books.
Right.
I just turned to one page in here random. It affirmed what you had just said. Yeah. And so what you're saying is I guess we need to read something, huh? At least a sentence.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, or listen, right? We should all be listening to, the Social Selling Made Easy podcast, right? We should all be, watching, consuming content, because that's, when I have one of my clients that says they're struggling with content, almost 100% of the time I go, what have you been reading lately? Their answer is, oh man, I haven't read anything this month. And when we stop learning, our brains just slow down, and we get foggier in our thinking, we get less creative, and so no wonder we can't think of anything to talk about, because our brains are operating at like a minuscule level than what they're capable of if we would just stimulate it a little bit with something that we're learning new. And that's always easy content to give to our people. Like for me, it's right there. So I'm a John Maxwell certified speaker, trainer, coach. So I love John Maxwell. I'm passionate about leadership. I think leadership is what's wrong with our country, amongst tons of other things. No one wants to lead. And so I'm about to do a 15-week series that's on one of his books, The 15 Powerful Laws of Growth. Literally every week I'm regurgitating his words with my spin, right? My little special sauce, and my audience is going to eat it up. And I bet I'll get at least 10 new coaching clients over the course of that series. And I won't talk about coaching one time because people know what we do. Marky, this is what realtors don't get. People know that I'm a coach. People know what you do. And so the reason they don't use us is because we're just not in front of them when their moment of need arises. That's the problem. Is we don't know how to be, because all we know how to do is open house, closing, appointment with another person, showing more houses. And that's not attractive content. Right? So that's our issue, is how do we just position ourselves daily from a place of value in front of people so that when their moment of need arises, they already trust us, and it's a slam dunk. It's easy. I never ask for business, and my business is growing faster than it ever has because I add genuine value to people. And to me, that's what it ultimately comes down to.
Wow. Okay. So I got my storytelling.
Yep.
We've talked about the content. You gave a great idea. Look, we need to consume to keep that brain. We got to oil it, right? So right. Nothing in, nothing out, or commit to being lifelong learners, right?
Yep. 100%.
Now, I know that you like video.
I do. Yeah.
Do you recall off the top of your head your best video ever?
Yes.
What made that video the best video?
That video was the best video because it was me and my dad. So my parents, amongst my dad having preached for a long time, they've been entrepreneurs for 36 years as well. And so they're the top salespeople in a company for over 3 decades. So they're brilliant, they're successful, they love people. And so they also found themselves $2 million in debt almost 20 years ago, 25 years ago. No, longer ago than that. And it's a powerful story. Wow. Most people don't want to tell that part, right? They just want to talk about the millions that they've made, which just makes people mad. So I sat at my bar in my living room with my dad, and I just asked him questions about what it was like when you and mom practically lost everything, and everyone was telling you to file bankruptcy, but God said different, and so you remained faithful, and that over 12 years you not only paid back that $2.2 million, but now you make millions of dollars, and no one would ever know it because of the humility in which they live their lives. And so that video got several hundred shares, because almost every American's in debt, right? So my whole goal was, how do I pull a part of my parents' story that is relatable? Putting my dad on a pedestal making millions is not relatable. Painting my dad in the reality of being millions of dollars in debt is more relatable than most people can even technically relate to, right? Because I'm worried about my tens of thousands, and I go, oh, dang, millions? Never mind, I'm good. I'm good with mine. And it blew people away. And here's what I did. At the time, I had a t-shirt on with my company logo. So I didn't talk about my company, but it got FaceTime in the video, and I sold 4 websites from that video. Never said the name of my company, never asked people to call me or comment or share, right? All that clickbait stuff. I simply position myself as someone people can trust and count on. And when we earn people's trust, it's only a matter of time before we earn people's money. We just try to get it the other way around. I think that I need your money first, then I'll continue to help you trust me. And if we would just allow trust to take place first, you might as well give me a blank check, because that's what it's going to look like, right, over the course of our time together.
So now I think I'm going to need to be a little bit more vulnerable in my videos.
100%.
Wow, because that is an amazing story because all we looked at the success, but definitely someone being in debt. A lot of people incur debt, you know. And I got a bunch of stories like right now just
Yeah,
coming to the surface. I'm like, oh yeah, I could definitely tell that. And how could I position that? So I'm going to put myself out there to be more vulnerable moving forward
I
because
love it.
I'm digging this whole because I would have never approached storytelling that way. But every time you say something, it's hitting right, like you hitting it right on the head. So I know
Yeah,
your session. Look, I'm gonna make sure I put you on my session because I need to know more about this content coaching that's
good.
going on. So you did a video, and we like Facebook Live videos.
Yeah.
Why do you like Facebook Live?
So I like live probably for a very different reason than a lot of people do.
Hmm.
It is, in my opinion, still the most powerful form of video just because of the authenticity that's there, because it's real, right? You can't edit it. You can't fake it, right? It's real. But what I've also grown to really love about it is I'm not a video editor. I suck at editing. And so what people don't understand is that when we pre-record videos, there is a different level of expectation that now comes with my video because it's technically edited, right? And so now what was really awesome, authentic live content is mediocre content at best because they're also judging the way the video started, the way it ended, right? The way the fades work, is the music in the background, is it too loud? Is it too soft? And so when I go live, I get to bypass all of the stuff that I'm not good at and don't want to pay someone else to do.
You know what?
That's why I love it.
That is you are about the most authentic person I've met recently. And that is about the most truthful answer in the world. And you know what? I've never admitted that. I never probably even thought about it, but
Sure.
that's why I like it. I am not a good video editor. I thought I liked it. I was giving myself all these other reasons to like it, right? And
there are tons of other reasons, but to me, that's like the most raw and real.
Yeah, I don't want to edit.
That's it.
Duh.
I'm in and out in one take. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Wow. What's a tip that you have for realtors when it comes to, besides the fact they don't have to edit it, in going live? So you mentioned something, and I'm going to tell you my story. I tell everybody I am the shortest, darkest, roundest person in the room with the least amount of hair, and it works all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned that. How would you look up on the roof? 6'3", 300 pounds. Right.
Yep.
What is a tip to tell people to get over themselves? And I know, I mean, like, really.
So the easiest way for me to put it is to start treating live video like you're having coffee with a friend. And this boils down into three things. Right, we all don't like what we look like. We don't like what we sound like, and we don't know what to say when it comes to video. And so the way I ham it up when I'm teaching live to people in a classroom setting is, think about the last time you had coffee with a friend. Did you wear a ski mask into that coffee? Right? Hopefully not. Right? That would end poorly for you. But no, the answer is no, because you already you're not concerned about your physical appearance because they know what you look like, right? Lady Gaga probably doesn't take bubble baths listening to her album because her voice to her is common. It's annoying. She notices the little 1% issue, not the 99% beautiful. And so we all struggle with that. But again, right, here's how I say it. Did you borrow Kanye's auto-tuner before you hopped out of the car to walk into coffee because you wanted your voice to sound cool? No, right? Because your friends know what you sound like. And then the final piece is 5 minutes into that coffee with your friend, did you look at each other and go, do you really have anything else to say? Because I'm kind of out. So it was good to see you, though. Right? No, we would have been at coffee twice as long Because we talk about everything other than trying to sell someone a house. And so when we realize that those three things are true, 99% of the people that watch your videos and my videos, who are they?
Oh, 99% of the people? I'm going to say real estate professionals, but they're in sales.
But they're our friends, right?
Oh, they are our friends.
There are people.
Yeah.
So if we're not afraid to sit at coffee with a friend, we shouldn't be afraid of putting ourselves on video, because the same person across the table from us is the same person that's through that phone.
Wow.
And so I'm actually, you're the first person I've announced this to other than like my friends. So I'm writing a book right now called The Social Media Mindset. Because most people think they're bad at social media, but they think it's a technical thing, when the reality is that their mind is jacked up about what it is and how it's supposed to be leveraged. And if they just fix this, social media would instantly open up for them. And so I'm working on that right now. I'm hoping to have it done by the time I'm in San Francisco.
Excellent.
So we'll see.
And you know what? It is a mindset. 100% mindset. Oh my God. You have dropped some pearls today. I'm going to tell you right now, I am getting ready to skyrocket because I'm getting ready to change and I think I'm a good storyteller. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to change the positioning of the storytelling, and I'm going to come out with a little bit more of the pain. So I would say I have I've started off pretty good to be able to even do the video and talk about the pain.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of funny? We do letters of the heart in our office. And so last year they said, well, Marky, are you doing your letter of the heart? I was like, look, I just did a video, Lessons from a Dope Fiend Parent. I said, no, I'm not doing letters of the heart. I have given my heart. I'm done.
That's right.
Done for the year, right?
Oh,
but I realized I got to pull more out. Like, I'm like, look, after that video, oh, you know what? It was that video. And then why I don't like them, a lesson on domestic abuse. And it wasn't the fact that I was the victim. It was the fact that my mother was the victim of my father. And so after those two, I was like, look, what I ain't told y'all already, I will not be putting it in a letter, right? But based on our conversation, I guess I'm going to need to pull some more out of me. So how do people find you, connect with you? I'm gonna be honest with you. You have gone totally in the opposite direction of anything that I was anticipating on storytelling.
Good. Hopefully
content
that's
marketing. Why you use Facebook Live? Like, you don't have to worry. I'm gonna know you from down the hallway when I see you in San Francisco. I just need you to know that. So
yes,
how do people connect with you and hire you? Because you definitely have a great handle on storytelling and content.
I'm Coach Kyle Draper on Facebook, and then my website is kyledraper.com. And so either of those places is going to connect you directly to me. You want to email me directly, it's kyle@kyledraper.com. But kyledraper.com will get you everywhere you could ever want to go in relation to me.
Excellent, Kyle. I so appreciate you for coming over here and dropping those nuggets. I know that we're going to see each other at the 2019 Realtor Conference and Expo.
Yes, ma'am.
You have taught me a lot, so I know that you're also going to teach my audience a lot, and I truly appreciate your time and energy today.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.